Here's a quick look at the assignments for the week. Feel free to hit pause so that you can copy this all down. So for this lesson, we're reviewing the order of operations and evaluating an expression. We're going to take verbal phrases and put them into numerical expressions. So that's just a fancy way for taking 2 plus 4 in words and writing a numerical expression, 2 plus 4, like so. We don't need to solve when we do this, all we're doing is translating. Key terms, numerical expression, that's this one. Evaluate, basically we're simplifying an expression and trying to get a single or the most basic answer for that particular expression, and then we'll talk about the order of operations, and this should be a review for most. So PEMDAS is an acronym that we often use. Forgive the red lines at the top. That was supposed to be erased, and I'm struggling trying to get this ready for today. PEMDAS just helps us remember the order of operations, kind of a set way that we need to solve problems. P stands for parentheses. Now, lots of things can be parentheses. As you take a look here, again, brackets, parentheses, sometimes a fraction bar. Also, if we're using a square root symbol. Those are different things that will act as parentheses. Then we have exponents. Those are there. We kind of know those. The next thing is multiplication or division in order from left to right. This is a big thing. Some people hear multiply first and they think they have to do all the multiplication, then go do the division. It doesn't work that way. It's either multiplication or division. Addition and subtraction are similar. We add or subtract in order from left to right. If subtraction comes first, we tackle that first. Okay, I'm disappointed I can't be with us in class today. I'd like to go through these because I like to show you how I'd like to have the work organized on your paper. I'll do the best I can through a video explanation. So, in the first problem, 18 divided by 3 times 2. We need to do the division first, because as we use PEMDAS, we don't have parentheses, we don't have exponents. Then we get to multiplication or division. So 18 divided by 3 is 6. That leaves us with 6 times 2. This right here is a multiplication symbol. That might take some time for some of us to get used to. Then 6 times 2 is 12. So as we're working from a textbook, I do want you to copy the original problem down and then work through it. So if I do example 2, if this were me doing it from the textbook, pretend that number 2 is in the textbook, I would go 6 times 2 plus 9 minus 3 times 8. And I'd copy that down. So I have some parentheses, I need to do that. So I get 6, parentheses stand for multiplication, times 11 minus 3 times 8. So now I'm at a point where I have multiplication. I have multiplication. For today's example, I'm going to go ahead and go 6 times 11 is 66 minus 3 times 8. Now I have multiplication here, so I need to go 66 minus 24. And then we set that up, and I need to go 66 minus 24. That's going to give us 42. If my math is correct this morning. Working quick, trying to get ready. If not, I apologize. Okay, so here we've got 4, and the big bracket is a multiplication symbol, times everything that we need to do inside. So we have 15 minus 9 in parentheses, plus 8 times 2. I'm going to need to do the 15 minus 9 first. So I go 4 times 6 plus the 8 times 2. I can go ahead and do that now. That becomes 16. And I get 4 times 22. Can go ahead and go 4 times 22, and I get 88. And again, I'm trying to work everything down underneath that problem. So earlier we mentioned a fraction bar can be parentheses, so I need to do what's on top and what's on bottom, and then go ahead and do the division. which is what a fraction bar can also mean. So as we look at 53 plus 15, I'll go ahead and swap colors. 53 plus 15 gets me to 68. Then I have 17 minus 13, that gets us to 4. So again, so we have 68 divided by 4. We can go ahead if we need to, work that over on the side of the paper. We're not using calculators at this point. 4 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. 28. We're going to get 17. So my final answer, and sometimes it helps on your paper to circle it, is 17. So here are 3 problems that I'd like you to try on your own. Go ahead and hit pause, and then come back and check your answers. Okay, so welcome back. So in the first problem, we have some division, so we're going to go ahead and go 32 minus 24 divided by 12. When I go 24 divided by 12, I get 12. So we've taken a break. You're checking your answers. We have 32 minus 24 divided by 2. We need to do the division part first. So we get 32 minus 12. And again, it's important to go ahead and show all our work. 32 minus 12 is 20. And again, if you want to circle your final answer, you're welcome to. Moving on to number 6. I have some multiplication. So we can go 2 times 3 plus 28. I need to do everything in the brackets now. There was multiplication inside the brackets. I need to do that before I can add the sum of, or the product of 7 times 4. So we get 3 plus 28, that's 31. Keep my brackets, that's a fancy multiplication symbol. And we have 2 times 31 is 62. Taking a look at number 7. So again, as we look at this, what's on top of the fractions like a parenthesis. So I need to go 19 minus 7. I get an answer of 12. And then I can go 25 minus 22, the bottom part of that, and that's going to give me 3. And then I have 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I debated about doing this without being in the classroom, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. This is a chart that you might want to copy down, and tomorrow I'll make some sheets that we'll use as we go on. But in each column, I want you to take a moment to list things that might mean addition. As I look through them and I read something, so if I see something that tells me sum, that's something that might tell me addition. Okay? There's other things, and I want you to try and list those. Kind of, if I say less than, okay, that's a phrase that also often tells us to go ahead and subtract. So in your notes, just jot down different things you think might mean to add, to subtract. The next one's multiply and divide. So just jot those down, give it a shot, see what you come up with, and then we can add as a class to our list tomorrow. But this is something I'd keep organized in your notes and refer to as the year goes on. I'll also have a tool that we'll use tomorrow to help keep track of some of this. So here we have an activity where we're taking a verbal phrase and we want to put it into a numeric expression, is the term, math term. So as I go through, I see this more than. That's going to tell me that I add. So I have 9 more than a number. So I have n plus 9. So in this next expression, we have 12 minus a number. So that one is telling us to subtract. I need to pick a number, and I can pick any letter. This sometimes can be confusing to students as we get into the algebra piece of this. And I'm going to go ahead and pick R for Roth as my number. A lot of times people like to use N. So 12 minus R. Okay, as I look at the next one, again, a number, or 10 less than a number, less than's telling me to subtract. What's confusing with this is I have the number first. So in this case, I'm going to use x as my number, and it's 10 less than that. So I need to go x minus 10. This particular one tricks a lot of students, and we'll talk about it throughout the year. Okay, the product of 3 and a number, product tells me to multiply, so I have 3, and typically as we get into algebra we're going to go ahead and put numbers next to letters, and so 3n means the same as 3 times n. Some of us might want to write it this way, and that would be okay. The quotient of 6 and a number, quotient is telling me to divide, so I have 6 divided by a number. In this case, I'm going to pick h because my daughter Haley's sitting right here, and she's watching me record this. But again, you can pick whichever variable or letter that you want. Okay, so here's our assignment for the day. Work through it. Please come to class with any questions, but certainly try and give it your best. I would state that at this point in the year, there are no calculators. Thank you for listening. Hope this went well. We'll see you guys tomorrow.